Today I'll be presenting diaphonization. So diaphonization, also known as clearing and staining, is the process by which chemicals are employed to render the skin of an animal translucent, as well as break down flesh, while dyes are used to color the bones and cartilage. This process was first developed in 1977 by two scientists named G. Dingerkus and L.D. Euler. The first step of this process is to prepare a dead specimen by removing all of its internal organs and body fluids, then solidify all its tissues with formalin. Formalin is liquid formaldehyde that is used to preserve the specimen throughout the process to prevent decomposition. Since diaphonization can be a lengthy process, this is often done on smaller animals like fish, mice, and reptiles. Step 2 is the cartilage stain. This is done by submerging the specimen into a solution comprised of ethanol, Alcium blue powder, and glacial acetic acid. The specimen will sit in this bath while the dye penetrates the cartilage, and the solution dehydrates the tissues and lowers its pH. This usually turns the whole specimen blue, as you can see in the photos. Next is the digestion step. This is done with a saturated solution of sodium borate, also known as borax, and trypsin. Trypsin is a digestive enzyme that digests protein but does not eat the collagen. Collagen is what keeps the specimen intact while also being transparent. So you can see in the photo, the jelly stuff on the animals is the collagen, and the trypsin will also help remove the blue staining from any non-cartilage tissues from the last step. Next, they do the bone stain. This is done by using a solution made of potassium hydroxide and alizarian red powder. This will dye the bones red as it will penetrate anything containing carbon. To help further transparency, the specimen will be put in a series of baths for bleaching. This is done with multiple solutions of potassium hydroxide and glycerin. The potassium hydroxide bleaches and gets rid of any dark spots, while the glycerin dehydrates the specimen, getting it ready for long-term storage. The final step of this process is the storage. So the specimen will be stored in a glass jar containing glycerin with a bit of thymol crystals to prevent fungal growth. The specimens are stored in glycerin because glycerin and collagen have the same refractive index, or index of refraction, which is a measure of the bending of light as it passes from one medium to another. So by passing light through the glycerin and the collagen, it becomes very transparent. Diaphonization is used in anatomy and morphology, as it is perfect to look at the skeletal and cartilage structure of animals. Diaphonization has benefits that other techniques do not have, like MRIs that are too low resolution to capture every aspect of the structure, 3D CT scans since it does not visualize soft tissues, and histology since it does not show 3D dimensions. Clearing and staining helps us understand the animal's mobility, their stages of development, and gives us access to observe small, fragile specimens. So these two pictures is an example of stages of development in a baby rat from 1 day old to 7 days old. You can see after 7 days, the rat has more bone development, indicated by the red/purple color from the dye. So is diaphonization environmentally friendly? Well, in the clearing and staining process, it uses many hazardous and irritant chemicals such as ethanol, which is highly flammable, and if consumed alone can cause comas and death, glacial acetic acid, which is highly corrosive and can cause internal organ damage if ingested or inhaled, sodium borate, or borax, which can be an irritant to the skin and cause hormone disruption, which could lead to infertility, etc. Trypsin, which can be an allergen to the skin and irritant to the eyes and respiratory tract. Also potassium hydroxide, which can also be an irritant to the eyes and skin, and prolonged contact can cause blindness and destructive effects on tissue. As well as glycerin, which can cause sickness when ingested, like vomiting, dizziness, diarrhea, etc. I believe that if any of these chemicals were to leak into waterways or be emitted into the atmosphere with high quantities of concentration, it will cause problems to the environment and human health. Luckily, most of these products are well looked after and disposed of, so they do not pose a serious threat to the environment, but some chemical leaks still do happen. I'm interested in this because I find it very artistically pleasing as well as informative. I love animals and I'm very fascinated by how things in nature work, especially the cycle of life. I'm interested in doing diaphonization myself one day as a hobby. And that's it. Here are my references.